much he is with the rest of Australia.
I thank the member for Macquarie. The question now is that the amendment be agreed to. The member for Lalor.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And I rise tonight, the member for Lalor, very pleased to join the debate with an opportunity to talk about the pensioners in the electorate of Lalor, Deputy Speaker. And I would assert that, like most pensioners across Australia, these people have worked hard all of their lives, that they have made their significant contribution to our country. Many have raised families, many have gone without to ensure their children had a better start in life than they did. Many have worked long and tireless hours. And, Deputy Speaker, it is my opinion, and I know it is the opinion of those on this side of the House, that our pensioners deserve the deepest respect. They also deserve to have a dignified retirement, Deputy Speaker. And I rise tonight to mention critically the hallmark of this government since it came into power in this country has been the most insulting thing that they have done is that they put aged pensioners into their bucket of what they describe as welfare recipients, Deputy Speaker. In my view, in the view of those on this side of the chamber, the age pension is not welfare, Deputy Speaker. It is a hard-earned entitlement in this country, a hard-earned entitlement, and pensioners across this country deserve our respect. And that's why this legislation is so disappointing, Deputy Speaker. We all remember the 2013 promise by the then Prime Minister, the member for Warringah, saying there would be no cuts to pensions, and we know what followed that. Time and time again, this government has attacked pensioners, has tried to claw back funds to fund its largesse to the big end of town through the pockets of our pensioners, Deputy Speaker. And tonight's legislation is about this government cleaning up a mess that it created itself by making a promise. The former Treasurer Joe Hockey made a promise that pensioners would not lose the pensioner concession card, and then, of course, what we found was that they actually did. He was either too lazy, or, as usual, the legislative agenda of those opposite was a complete mess, and his promise fell off the workings of the legislation that they brought into this House, Deputy Speaker. And we're here cleaning that mess up tonight, Deputy Speaker. And how long has that taken? That is the question that the pensioners in Lalor are asking. They're asking me, they're asking members opposite. How long has it taken for you to clean up this mess after you ripped away their rights to the pensioner concession card without negotiations with the states and the territories, without even really understanding what that meant in their lives on the ground, that it meant that they wouldn't get the concessions that they had been getting in different states for different things at different values, which make the complexity of it difficult to go into the detail of. But you can bet your bottom dollar that every pensioner knows exactly what they missed out on when they lost their pensioner concession card. They know to the letter, they know to the cent and to the dollar what that cost them, because of course they live frugally, Deputy Speaker. So we're here to clean up that mess. We're also here in this piece of legislation to being asked to embrace a one-off energy assistance payment of $75 for a single pensioner, one-off, once in a lifetime offer, Deputy Speaker, while at the same time we know that this government wants to cut the energy supplement of $365 every year for every pensioner, Deputy Speaker. And I have sat here across the last 4 years and listened to those opposite rail about the increase in electricity prices, and their hypocrisy stands exposed before us tonight, because we know their intention is to cut that energy supplement of $365 a year to pensioners. So they know the cost of electricity, Deputy Speaker, but they don't. But they want to act to take away pensioners' assistance to meet those debts, Deputy Speaker, and to pay those bills. So we will support these changes because the measures in this bill will help to relieve some of the pressure this government has placed on elderly Australians, but it doesn't mean that we don't see through this government. It doesn't mean that we'll drop our guards and believe that you suddenly believe in a fair society, Deputy Speaker, because it is clear that this government doesn't understand fairness, and there is no lens that you can see more clearly, for which you can see more clearly that exact case than to be here tonight and to be listening to this debate. Deputy Speaker, because we know that although they were here a few weeks ago, crawling backwards out of the chamber as they repealed their zombie cuts, but they left too. For 1,000 days they argued for those, many of which were attacks on pensioners. For 1,000 days they walked into this chamber and argued for those measures, and then they had to take them back. And when they did, Deputy Speaker, they didn't take them back because they'd changed their minds. They told us themselves they removed those measures from the legislative agenda because they couldn't get them through the Senate, not because they changed what they believed, not because they suddenly saw the light and saw that pensioners needed more support. No, Deputy Speaker, they did it because they couldn't get it through the Senate. But they have left two, and the worst of those two is the notion that that people will not be eligible for an age pension until they are 70, Deputy Speaker. Now, in the electorate of Lalor, a median weekly rent is $280 a week, Deputy Speaker. We only have to say that in one of the most affordable communities in Victoria. You only have to say that to know that that means that a single person, single-aged pensioner renting is paying 60% of their pension on accommodation, Deputy Speaker. You only need to look at that one statistic to understand what this means, Deputy Speaker, in terms of their level of being able to access things in our community. And, Deputy Speaker, this government has time and time again brought into this House measures that would be cuts, real cuts to pensioners. I am reminded that it was a Labor government that last gave the pensioners a pay rise, Deputy Speaker. It was a Labor government who saw the need and did those things, and it is a Liberal national government that is intent on putting their hands into pensioners' pockets to take things from them. In 2014, the Liberals tried to cut the pension indexation and leave pensioners $80 a week poorer over 10 years. Deputy Speaker, that should not be a surprise when we know that they also support a $77 a week pay cut to those people who will lose it through penalty rate cuts, Deputy Speaker. We remember when the Liberals tried to reset the deeming rate thresholds, changes that would have negatively impacted 500,000 PARP pensioners. Who could forget when the assets test changed and the goalposts were shifted on hundreds of thousands of pensioners who had carefully planned for retirement? Almost 100,000 retirees lost their pension and many more had their payments reduced, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, this government comes in here tonight and asks us to support them to clean up their mess. On this side of the chamber, we will do that, Deputy Speaker, but we will not be foxed. We know what's coming. We know they're going to bring back the clean energy supplement to have it taken away from pensioners when electricity bills are rising, Deputy Speaker. The irony is almost too much. We know that as a government they are set on reducing the cost of pensioners across this country, pensioners who deserve our respect, pensioners who deserve a dignified retirement, pensioners who deserve not to be scrimping week to week in fear that there will be changes come through this parliament that will once again reduce their capacity to live at any level of acceptance, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, it is almost unbelievable that this government is persisting with the second of those zombie measures, and that would be the raising the age pension to 70. It's unbelievable until you cast your mind back to this week in Question Time when Minister Porter stood at that dispatch box and talked about unemployed people over 55 and the fact that he felt that they were not looking for a job. They were not looking hard enough for work, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, in my community, I have met lots of people who have lost their jobs post-50. The pressure on them, the stress on them, many of them are suffering from mental health issues as a result of the loss of self-esteem, the loss of security in the loss of a job. This government persists in wanting to punish those who need our help the most. Tonight it's pensioners and them trying to clean up their mess, Deputy Speaker. It's a shame.